So they discovered some dragons, which is pretty freaking cool if you ask me. And I'm not talking about a dinosaur with wings. I'm talking about a literal reptile that flew around with razor sharp teeth that just ate the hell out of everything. Now, I know some people are going to jump on board and say, yeah, absolutely not. There was no such thing as a fire breathing dragon. However, there is a lot of ways for there to be a fire breathing dragon. And considering the fact that 99.9% of all living freaking things never left behind some sort of fossil, like they just rotted and disappeared. And the few fossils that we do find is an extreme rarity. Now, this is where the animal kingdom gets pretty freaking weird because it is quite possible for there to be some sort of fire breathing animal out there. I mean, if you take into consideration things in the animal kingdom like the Bombardier beetle that can hold hydrogen peroxide in it until it's ready to defend itself, then it can mix it with some enzymes that it can basically turn into a boiling liquid that it can then expel to shoot at some sort of predator. I mean, that's pretty freaking out there. Then you take into account that there's things like the electric eel that can produce some sort of spark, then you don't need a whole lot of extra things. Matter of fact, one of the ways that can make this better, if there was some sort of biological element that would allow an animal to produce oil that could be lit on fire, and there are animals out there that produce oil in their guts that they regurgitate to feed their babies. So all I am saying is it is biologically feasible that some tiny little lizard could breathe fire at one point in time to protect itself, then it evolved into some sort of large monstrosity with wings, and that would be a dragon. Now, obviously, this is hypothetical. However, I thought it was interesting to think about the biological elements that could be put together in order to create a fire breathing dragon, and there is plenty of ways for this to actually happen. And like I said, considering 99.9% of all the animals that ever lived are never going to leave a fossil, there's a pretty good chance that at least something out there breathed fire at one point in time and flew. And I think that is pretty freaking awesome. Anyways, I thought it was interesting. I thought you all would think it was interesting. With that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Okay, bye.